They were calling me the miracle child.
Why is that?
Because what I went through, not a lot of people survived through it.
What are they telling you happened to you?
They're saying it was self-inflicted.
That it was an attempted suicide?
Yes.
Do you believe that?
No, I do not.
Was there any happiness between them?
When you look at the family photos of them, they look happy, but when you see them together, it was just so much different.
Frankly, I think all this should have been done privately for a peaceful resolution that would be mutually beneficial.
The first step in this process is to determine whether we want to continue his employment.
The decisions I will make and the other members of my council will be based on the facts that we have been given.
In the quiet town, shadows concealed a violent relationship between Matthew Boynton and Jessica Lester, unveiling a web of secrets and manipulation. Meanwhile, Sergeant Andy Davis's bold stand against Police Chief James Hansey set off a chain of events that rocked the foundations of law enforcement, unveiling a web of corruption and deceit. The relationship between Matthew Boynton and Jessica Lester raised concerns from the start. Jessica, left by her parents as a young child, felt fortunate that a charming, well-liked young man would show interest in her, a fact Boynton exploited. When she became pregnant at 16, they moved in together, and Matthew started distancing her from her family, citing a lack of blood ties. Pursuing his long-standing ambition to become a police officer, Matthew was recognized for his intense demeanor and unwavering attitude. Seeking some form of independence, Jessica had an affair, leading to another pregnancy. Unexpectedly, Matthew agreed to raise the child as his own, and they quickly married. But within 6 months, Matthew began his own affair, openly displaying it. The relationship deteriorated, and Jessica sought a divorce. Following an altercation at Walmart, they returned home, and shortly afterward, a neighbor heard gunshots. Spotting Matthew swiftly leaving the house and driving off, the neighbor looked out and witnessed the scene. Later, after a stop at the Waffle House with a colleague, Matthew received a text, allegedly from Jessica, suggesting she was contemplating self-harm. After sending a casual text to his girlfriend, he contacted emergency services and then made his way home.
All right, Matthew, I'm just going to start off by letting you know that I am not conducting an internal investigation on you, okay? So Garrity is not implied. Okay, I want you to understand that, all right?
Okay.
All right, Garrity is not implied to this incident, okay?
Can you fully explain what that? I understand part of it, just.
She's gonna read you Miranda.
Okay.
So I just want to let you know that I'm not conducting. I know I do IAs, but this is not an IA. This is in reference to a criminal investigation. Okay.
Okay.
Jessica was discovered in a distressing state with injuries to her head inside a confined space. Initially deemed a self-inflicted act, Jessica miraculously survived. A brief and inadequate inquiry followed, marked by concealments and contradictions. Ultimately, Matthew was absolved of any charges, and Jessica faced the loss of custody of her sons. The situation might have concluded there if not for Matthew's involvement with another woman who stumbled upon a collection of Jessica's possessions. These were the very items Matthew had previously sworn under oath that he no longer retained.
What's it in reference to?
It's in reference to, you remember the statement you wrote me about Jessica saying you took items from the house?
Yeah, the computer, yeah.
That's what it's going to be in reference to.
Okay.
So what's the time?
17:22.
How old are you, Matthew?
21.
What's your current address?
130 LeMay Road.
Spell that for me.
Loumae.
Is that Griffin?
Yes, ma'am. It's County. 224.
Alright. And what's the last grade you completed in school?
I graduated high school.
Okay.
At college.
All right. What this is a Miranda waiver. We'll read to everybody before we talk to them. It's just got today's date at 7/27 to 17. The time was 17:22. We're in CID. Your name is Matthew Boynton. You're age 21. You live at 130 Lou May Road, Griffin. You completed the 12th grade school, and that you know that myself, Kay Yancey, and Jay Hayes are officers with the Griffin Police Department. And we're going to advise you that you have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that? Anything I say can be used against me in a court of law. Do you understand that? I have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with me while I'm being questioned. Do you understand that? If I cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent me before any question if I wish. Do you understand that? I can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand that? It says, I understand my rights, and having these rights in mind, I'm now willing to talk about items that belong to Jessica. I've not been threatened. I've not been promised anything. I've not been forced in any way to answer any questions or make any statements. Okay? If you want to talk to us, just sign right there. All right. So Jessica came in. She filed a report.
Okay.
I talked to you about it. You wrote a statement saying you didn't have any of her items.
Right.
The report specifically said her retainer and stuff like that, her clothes.
Okay.
Do you know anything about where her clothes or retainer might have been?
Like I told her before, the only thing that we might have had would have been in that white trailer, and my stepdad has not mentioned anything else being in there.
The detective initiates by reassuring Boynton that an internal investigation won't be pursued. Considering the case's past and Boynton's familial connection as the sheriff's grandson, this conduct is unethical yet regrettably expected.
We gave everything back that we had because she had put some stuff in like it's like a little split chase thing. We opened it up, it's got 2 little boxes. I think we used to use it for like diapers and stuff now, but I mean, everything that she had that I knew of was gone. I got rid of everything I knew of.
You got rid of a house, so.
To either give back to her or her family came back and got it. You know, like she had a big kitchen table and some other stuff that her Aunt Kathy and Uncle Tim come and got. Just different. I think my stepdad actually took a whole bunch of stuff over to her grandparents' house at 2464 East Milner in Pike, which is like right by my parents' house.
Okay. So when did you move to Lou May Road?
That would be sometime in March.
March. Through the course of that move, did you find anything that belonged to her at that point?
No, because if I would have, I would have turned it over to her, because I had no need to keep her stuff. The only thing I had at that point was that computer, and me and you had talked about that and gave it back to her, because she could let her and talk to Bird.
Okay. So, do you recognize that bag?
Yes, that bag that Jessica let me use to put all my gym stuff in when we used to be together.
Okay. So when's the last time you saw that bag?
It's been a long time. Like I said, when I used to work out at, there's 2 gyms in Thomaston. I don't remember the name of it. I used that one, and I had a gray Nike bag I used to work out in. So I interchanged my stuff like protein drinks, powder shakes like pre-workout, workout shorts, pants, shoes, whatever. I'd put it in that bag or my Nike bag.
So when's the last time you saw that bag?
I mean, it's been a while. I don't know an exact date. I don't know. I think my stepdad, he had it in the white trailer, and that's been a while. And he brought it, but I haven't been through it or anything. He put it in my storage thing in my house, which is like when you pull in the driveway. It's a little storage thing on the right. You open the door and it's got all my stuff in there. I had to clean some of it out recently. That was tossed in there, but I mean, it's in there with a bunch of my stuff, like a brown tub I used to keep in my old patrol car with gym stuff in it and work stuff.
Would that be the utility room or carport room at your new house?
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I keep I keep stuff in that, and I keep stuff in like what's considered an office in the back of my house. So I just tossed it in there for the rest of my gym. But it's just an old gym bag.
When questioned about possessing her computer and other belongings, Boynton falsely denies ever having them. Authorities are aware of his dishonesty as a bag belonging to Jessica has been retrieved by Boynton's girlfriend and a private investigator, indicating otherwise.
All right, Matthew. Look. Let me see the photo. Let me see the photo. Known you a long time.
Yes, sir.
This bag, you saw it moving when you moved from your apartment to the main road.
I didn't know.
And your stepdad and Wendell saw it, and another female saw it. All right.
Okay.
At the house and the apartments. Yes or no? When you moved from the apartment.
When I moved, like I said, I had all my stuff in the white trailer.
Matthew,
and
that's not what I'm asking you. When y'all were in the process of moving, and you moved into the house that you're at now, your residence, did you or did you not see this bag?
Yes, sir. It was in my storage room in the garage.
All right. Now, why would I be holding a picture of this bag?
I guess because Jessica brought it into you.
Why would Jessica have it if you had it at your house?
I don't know. I guess somebody got it from my garage in my shed.
Who would have gotten it?
There's a couple of people.
Okay.
I don't know
All right.
exactly who.
Boynton asserts that although the bag belongs to Jessica, he once utilized it as a gym bag and hasn't encountered it in a while, suggesting it might have been stored in his shed. However, he remains unaware that his girlfriend possesses evidence capable of countering his statement.
And inside that bag, there were numerous contents inside of it. And one of those is this right here. You know what this is?
It's like Jessica's old retainer thing that she had when we were together.
Right. The bag was completely filled with female clothes. And this is one photo of it. That's not yours.
No, not.
All right?
No, sir.
Okay. That's not yours.
No, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who did that belong to?
This got Jessica's name on it, so it'd be Jessica's retainer thing.
If it was in this right here, where would that have been at?
I had all of her stuff in it.
What would it have been at?
It would have been in the garage thing I could sit in,
Which is where?
which is at my house.
Which is at your house.
Yes, sir.
Did you buy that for Jessica?
I don't recall. I don't think I did.
Because she
I
had
think her grandparents did.
because she had retainers before she met you, right? Before y'all got married, right?
I believe so.
So that would make it whose property?
Hers.
Not yours, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
Whose bag is that?
Jessica's.
And the contents in the bag?
And it's got all her stuff in it.
So why would you not have brought that to us when you saw the bag at moving?
Sarge, I promise I've not been through that bag. The last time I used that
Matthew,
bag was for the
I
gym.
didn't ask you that, Matthew. Listen to me, buddy.
I
Whose bag is this?
understand what you're saying. It's Jessica's. I should have brought it up here.
You know,
Next.
all things, and I don't know anything about your other issue, but all things involved in reference to this case, all the going around, the statement that you wrote, where's the statement at? The statement that you wrote. The same statement. I didn't read this. I don't know what the statement said. What did it say?
It's just very brief. I gave Jessica her property like I gave her a computer and everything.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Whose is this bag?
It's Jessica's. I didn't think about it because I used it as a gym bag and she let me use it. I understand what you're saying.
Matthew, you're a police officer.
Yes, sir. I understand.
You're a police officer, Matthew. You know we are held to a higher standard than anybody else.
I understand.
You know, people don't expect us to make mistakes, and they don't realize we're human. I understand that. You
Yes, sir.
understand that.
I should have been smarter about it.
You work out a lot, don't you? You stay in shape. You're in good shape, right?
Try to.
You have 2 bags. Did you swap your stuff in between, right?
Yeah, I don't have the other one anymore.
This would have been your only gym bag. So how would you not know the contents of the bag? If this was your gym bag, man.
I have no excuse. Like you said, I should have thought about it and brought it up here.
That's like having 2 cars.
Yes, sir.
If you use 2 cars and you get in the other one and it's out of gas, do you not know it's out of gas?
You're right.
Because you use 2 cars, right?
Yes, sir.
If you were using this, being slap full, when I say it was slap full, I mean it was, I want to say, just a guess of it, probably 30 or 40 articles of clothing in it. You would have known. I mean, it almost looked like when whoever packed this bag had packed this bag to move.
Yes, sir.
This is Matthew Boynton, January 9th, 2017. I was advised to complete a statement on previous date by Lieutenant Yancey. Jessica Lester Boynton's property was already previously returned to her by my stepdad, Charles McDaniel Jr. Shortly after Jessica got out of this hospital, the dining room table, along with other items, were picked up by Kathy Zellner for Jessica. The remaining items, such as Hope Chest clothing and other miscellaneous items, returned to Jessica. I do not have any other items of Jessica's. This is Matthew Boynton. Is that your statement?
Yes, sir.
What's that, Matthew?
That's Jessica's bag. Jessica's retainer.
You understand you didn't buy that.
I understand.
That does not make it community property.
I understand.
That makes it her property
Yes, sir.
that you're in possession of.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Detective Hayes, visibly hesitant, informs Boynton of the discrepancy in his narrative. Pressing further, he inquires once more if Boynton has come across the bag in his new residence. Boynton's following lie appears awkward. He suggests someone else must have placed it there. This assertion, a common catchphrase heard by most officers, is almost instinctively regarded as false.
The bag was turned into us. We have possession of the bag.
Yes, sir.
We have evidence that says it came out of your storage room. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything you'd like to say?
No, sir. I said I was just done with my part script.
Do you believe that statement to be accurate and true?
Not now.
Did you believe it then?
No, sir.
You need water or something, Matthew? You sure?
Yes, sir.
I got some right here.
Thank you.
Alright. I'll be right back.
Sorry, man. I had to smoke a cigarette.
You're good.
I'm walking around outside. Why would you say you didn't have the damn bag when you had it? You know you can't give a sworn statement and lie on it.
I know, Sarge.
Why would you do that, Matthew?
I don't know.
It was a bag, man. It wasn't. It's not like it was. Talk to me, man. I mean, help me understand.
Sergeant, I swear, I know it's hard to believe, but I didn't think about that bag. Otherwise, I wouldn't have run. I said, hold on, LT. I got something. Let me go get it. I swear, I wouldn't have done that because I've got 2 kids, 3 and 1. I wouldn't jeopardize that over a bag. I'm telling you, Sergeant.
Detective Hayes points out the inconsistency. If Boynton had been using the bag as a gym bag, it wouldn't contain Jessica's clothing. Boynton's behavior shifts, resembling a child summoned to the principal's office, aware he's in trouble and seeking a way out. Hayes, expressing frustration by sighing and running his hand through his hair, clearly dislikes being in this situation. Considering the subsequent revelations of corruption and favoritism within the department, regardless of the investigation's outcome, this circumstance is likely to cast a shadow on his career.
If I would have thought about it then, I would have said something.
But you knew you had the bag. Did you not know you had the bag?
I'm sorry, mine's right. I fucked up. I know I didn't. I should have turned it in, but not only because I'm a cop, because I should have, because it was Jessica. Even if she let me use it,
It was the right thing to do, man.
I'm clear. Yes, sir. If I would have thought about it then, I wouldn't have messed up and been in this position because of my kids.
But why didn't you turn the bag in when you damn moved?
I don't know what
Because
I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking then.
Did you think you was gonna get in trouble if you turned it in late?
I guess. I don't know what I was going through in my mind.
What do you think should happen now?
I know that's probably gonna happen.
No, that's not what I asked you. So what do you think should happen?
I just lose my kids, man. My kids are fucking daddy's boys, man. If I would have thought about it, I would have done it.
Of all the stuff that you see about you, you know if you were in possession of something that belonged to her, you know you could have brought it to me. You know I'm going to do the right thing, you know I have to do the right thing. I would have took care of it. I would have gotten the bag back to her. But when you knew you had the bag and you didn't do anything about it, man, you put me in a situation where I don't have any other choice.
I'm clear. I'm clear. There's no excuse for it. Here. I know it's got that on there. I know. It's so hard, like, well, I love working here.
I know you do.
And asked you, I was so scared to come to work every day.
Why?
Because every time I did, it was always 11:79 or 10:22 to 42 come up here. I mean, it's always something. I don't know, maybe I thought if I brought it up here I was going to get fired and whatever, man. I don't know. I'm so young and stupid.
But Matthew, you know doing the right thing regardless, it doesn't matter. If you do the right thing, you can live with yourself. 9 times out of 10, I do. I mean, that's the way I was raised. But you know that. You know that you have to do the right thing. And when you found, even if you found the bag, you should have said, hey LT, hey SAR, hey whoever, I got something, man. Stop for a minute and talk to me.
I don't know what I was thinking then. I don't know if it's because I was scared. I mean, I told you, I come to work every day scared now. There's no excuse. I'm not trying to make one for myself. I know I'm obviously not employed anymore. It's just like, the only thing I can think about now is my kids, man. Cause my kids.
Hayes comes back, visibly frustrated, demanding an explanation for Boynton's falsehood regarding something as insignificant as a bag. Once more, Boynton attempts to pass it off as a misunderstanding. However, in later interviews, Boynton's girlfriend reveals that she had mentioned the bag multiple times, with Boynton finding it amusing, even making jokes about the shooting incident.
The baby especially, I took him in like he's my own. And I'm not setting a good example right now. always trying to show my kids what's right.
But you know, when you swear an oath, we swear that we're going to uphold the law.
Yes, sir.
Regardless. And you know you can't lie. You can't lie in an investigation. You know that.
I don't know what I was thinking. Like I said, I don't know if I was scared or what. I don't know what was going through my mind then.
Does that make it right?
No, it doesn't. I know that. And I know this is everything I've ever worked for, like out the door. My main concern is my kids, man. Because I've got primary custody over them. And this is going to set me back if I get locked up for this. So I'm going to go down and see them every other weekend. And she's not going to take care of them like she's supposed to. Like, she's supposed to put them on her insurance. I had to do that.
But Matthew, if you did what you were supposed to do, we would not be here in this situation. You think I want to be here?
No, sir.
I would rather be anywhere else than be here.
Clear.
But if you had done what you were supposed to do, we would not even have to be having that conversation. You would have to worry about it.
Yes, sir.
But you know that we have to do the right thing. We have to do what people pay us to do. You know that. You know that, especially with me and Lieutenant Yancey. You've known us a long time.
Yeah. I don't want to lose the primary custody of my kids. Like, I know, I mean, no matter where I go now, I'm not really going to get a good job now, but like the main focus is my kids, man.
Life is not over with. Everything happens for a reason. Just hang tight, okay? Get your phone and your glasses. Get your stuff.
Can I get that flashlight and a lot of stuff? Whenever y'all get a chance.
Boynton breaks down in tears, setting aside all his gear on the table. He admits to living in fear every day at work, dreading the discovery of this situation, and expresses concern about how it will impact his children. Hayes responds, stating that if Boynton had voluntarily come forward, things could have been resolved differently. However, Boynton now finds himself cornered. It's a miserable scene as Boynton, left to himself, shifts between fidgeting with his gear and using his phone, a privilege not afforded to others in custody. He appears resigned to his impending fate, acknowledging that resignation is likely inevitable. It's disheartening to note that he walked free from attempted murder, while Jessica might only see a glimpse of justice for a comparatively minor offense. Following her recovery, Jessica lost custody of her sons. Evidence supporting her as a victim of attempted murder was either disregarded or not permitted in court, a predictable outcome given the connections between the sheriff and the judge. Boynton justified his actions by claiming fear for the safety of the children and Jessica herself, despite a comprehensive psychological evaluation contradicting this. Nevertheless, Jessica was allowed limited supervised visits with her sons, each lasting only 4 hours a week and monitored by an armed police officer. Subsequently, Boynton faced charges of making false statements and violating his oath of office, both serious felonies. Yet, following a pattern, he avoided indictment and, 4 months later, secured a position as a reserve officer in another city. In 2018, the eldest son reported mistreatment by his father. Jessica reported this to Child Services, leading to a year-long investigation involving assessments by child psychologists. As a result, it was recommended that the boys cease contact with their father. Boynton intends to contest this decision in court, raising questions. Without the support of his corrupt family and police connections, what are his odds of success? And more alarmingly, could he resort to his violent tendencies to achieve his goals? Meanwhile, in Buckeye Lake Village, another case emerged that highlighted the complexities of justice and the involvement of those in positions of power. The scenario shifts gears now to spotlight the complex dynamics when an officer is forced to report corruption within the authority. It's a move that can spell political demise and, in extreme cases, even pose physical threats. On March 19, 2018, Sergeant Andy Davis took a courageous step, engaging with investigators to level accusations against Police Chief James Hansey. Davis's claims include a range of allegations, notably Hansey's alleged lack of work despite receiving regular pay.
All right, so I was kind of going over stuff you put in your little diary thing today. Yeah, there's quite a few things. So we're just trying to go over and trying to pinpoint some different things though. What's the major issues you see over here with Hansey? I mean, there's obviously a lot of stuff in here, but
I mean, he just has a problem with, obviously going to work, then working 40 hours a week, and pretty much I consider it stealing time. So, I mean, that's why I basically started this book. Mm-hmm. Is it because I knew eventually one of the, this would end up happening. So, if I had everything all wrote down, every day when I go home from work, there was always something.
It was a wise move by Davis. When initiating an investigation, especially against a higher authority in law enforcement, thorough documentation is crucial. Detailed records of dates, times, and supporting facts bolster the credibility of the case, reducing the chances of hostile consequences falling back on you.
Pretty much, you know what I mean? So I'd go home and sit down with my wife and we'd discuss, like, hey, look, this is what was done, this is what was said today, this is what time you went home. And did you work with Vicki Glover?
Yeah, well, yeah, temporarily. I mean, she was here.
She's an awesome person.
Yeah.
She was actually, I mean, she rode with me a lot. And she's like, Andy, you got to document everything. If you didn't document it, it didn't happen.
Right.
And at least this way, I got exact dates and times, and this is pretty much my memory. You know what I mean? So
what was your last day over there at Buckeye Lake? Was it this year?
It was 17.
17.
A couple days after Father's Day is when I had my accident and found out that I had brain cancer. Okay. So what's Father's Day? June 19th?
Around the 21st or something.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, something like that. So
okay.
This is pretty much everything prior to, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I know somebody mentioned, and maybe I haven't gotten to it yet, that him and Vermaten, I know I was going to say it wrong, went riding four-wheelers at some state park, or?
Yeah, I believe it was Perry State Forest.
But you don't know when that was exactly?
Let's see. It's in here for sure, the date and the time.
Well, I found some where he was riding four-wheelers, but it
four-wheelers, right.
But it was different reasons why they were looking for a horse.
Yeah, totally different. You just hadn't got to it.
I'm almost all the way to the back now.
Oh,
so.
okay.
Do you know where it might be in here?
Honestly, not really. My wife's at my car. She'd probably come back through here and browse through this thing.
Because I got like a 6/24/16. He's on a four-wheeler with Jeff. There was pictures on Facebook.
Okay.
Is that what you were talking about?
No.
Okay.
No.
Was it after that?
I believe it. I can't remember.
Okay.
I really can't. It was Perry State Forest opens. Probably look it up actually. When Perry State Forest opens their riding trails, because they went to Wayne National Forest, so they went down to Wayne, and then they found out that it was closed, so they went to Perry. Perry had opened up like that day, or whatever that day was.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what day it was, because
was it 2016, 17?
Let me have my wife come in here. She's really good at.
I'd rather not really. I mean,
okay.
if you want to ask her about it and then have her, let you know, or if she knows where that might be in there, I guess that's fine. But
let me look it up real quick.
The key to things like that too is, he has to claim that as time on his.
Well, and in my notes, I know for sure, that night when I came home, I told the wife, I said, write down that I believe that he had wrote down that he had worked that day, and I made a copy of his timesheet showing.
You have timesheets in here, but I don't know if that's the right.
It should be with that
Right.
page.
Or actually it's gonna be behind that one maybe. I haven't gotten to this page yet, so.
Okay, so it may be this one. Because
Okay.
it specifically says, I went back and double checked to make sure that he wrote that time down as time that he worked, and I'm like, I know for sure he didn't.
Okay, so. That was a weirder thing.
Actually, I think he might have even possibly wrote down more hours than what he actually worked. Might have worked that he worked, or might have been something like, might have been like that too. I was thinking it was like Tuesday or something. Ritter had came in and worked for Vermaten, because there was a, like our part-time guys are only allowed to work 32 hours a week. So Mary, the lady that does our paychecks, was upset because there was a situation where Ritter had worked over because he claimed the hours that he came in and worked early.
Okay. Well,
And
this is another one that you had on here. So you got Vermaten.
yeah, I made a copy of Vermaten's too. Is that Vermaten's?
That's Hansies. This is Vermaten's.
Okay.
Because you said that he didn't, Jeff worked from 12 to 10 on the timesheet.
Yeah.
It says Jimmy didn't fill his out until October 13th.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. I think.
Well, this is for December.
Okay. Yeah, I hate to, there's just so much. So this is December too.
Okay, all right, so
Well-
it's December, it's 12/10, so, okay, December 10th.
I think that's something different though, because I was thinking it was right before springtime when I was riding a four-wheeler, when the four-wheeler incident went on or happened or whatnot.
That would make sense. The other one, I think, was like an 8.
Yeah.
It's concerning to realize the extent of the chief's misuse of authority, causing Davis to struggle to track all instances. It indicates a repetitive pattern of behavior rather than an isolated incident.
The other timesheet.
So this timesheet from April is for,
I'm assuming that's
I was
probably,
gonna go four-wheelers.
yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to this page yet, that's why. Looking for the rest of the week off, then he said he took the work day off, and they were gonna go right four-wheelers. Talked to Minnie about Jimmy taking time off. Talked to, who?
Mary, she was
Oh, Mary, I'm sorry.
yeah, so I'm like, hey, how the hell can he be taking all this time off? And
She said he had 2 weeks of vacation.
yeah,
I said Jimmy got mad, broke keyboard. So this is on 4/25.
yeah, so then, yeah,
And you say that he claimed time for that?
claim time for it. Yeah, there should be a copy of his timesheet in there with that.
Okay. So this would be the 4/25, would be right here. So 6A to 6P.
Yeah.
So he claimed 12 hours for that.
Yeah, he claimed 12 hours, and then this was his timesheet. Like I said, he signed it, and so I'm like, oh, okay, so.
Okay.
Do you know if he worked it all that day?
He didn't work at all that day. He was out riding four-wheelers for a maiden, for sure.
Was that for maintenance day off?
No. They actually, Ritter had came in and covered Vermaten so they could both go out and ride.
Okay.
But there's got to be a paper trail because they had to sign, you know how you get those license plates for your four-wheelers now?
Yeah.
So wherever they had gone, they had to have gotten those plates to ride in Perry State Forest.
Okay, yeah, we'll check on that.
But yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Okay.
So I knew I had it wrote down.
So all this stuff came in at 10, left at 1:30. You just believe that he's stealing time because of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there was times I'd gone to his house, and the times that he was writing down that he was working, and he'd be in his shorts and no shirt. I mean, he definitely wasn't working. I mean, sitting there watching Cops or something. So he clearly wasn't working. But it seemed like every day he had an excuse. And then I hurt my arm actually. Tripped and fell at work and hyperextended my arm. And I think he had some sort of conclusion that I was kind of keeping somewhat notes possibly, because he kept telling me just, if your arm hurts, it's your left hand, and I'm left-handed. He's like, you still got time. He kept encouraging me to take the time off. I think it was so that he could the other guys that were working and tell them, hey, look, I got these calls, or this report I got to do. He just basically tell them the same thing that he was telling me, but to a different person and get more time off. I strongly believe that that's what was going on. But yeah, not did he only write, he wrote overtime hours on there, 12 hours, not even 10, and he was not at work, and especially at 6 o'clock in the morning, because that's when I came in. He could pull my time sheet. And then I think Vermaiden wrote down, or Jimmy or somebody wrote down hours that he had worked that day, and it would have shown 4 of us working, you know what I'm saying? And there was only 2 of us.
Who was out with you that day?
Ritter.
Does Ritter know about it too, about being on the four-wheelers?
Yeah. Yeah, because he had to come in early to cover Jeff.
Okay.
How does Ritter feel about Hansy?
I don't want to say they get along, but they don't get along. Ritter's one of those type of people, if he sees something that he doesn't like, he calls, he's not afraid to call. And so Jimmy really don't like that. I don't want to say that they get along, but they don't get along. It depends on what type of day it is. Or.
So on 426 on here, you said that Jimmy stopped by the office, but he was out riding a motorcycle all day. He went through the paperwork and found the cars where he sold. But he's got down, he was there for 10 hours that day.
Right.
What time did you come in on the 26th then?
I would have to look at my time sheet,
Okay.
but I believe they're there for the longest time. My shift I'd work like from 6 to 6 to 4, and then he split it up and went noon to 10. So I can't remember exactly. This book was, like I said, if I didn't have it, I would better remember that shit.
Right, sure.
Anything, what I mean?
No, quite honestly, the problem we're going to run into is it's going to be hard to prove this stuff.
Right.
Because he's got documentation, obviously saying I worked these hours, and the only thing you have is documentation written down that says he didn't. So how do we prove that who's right?
Right.
That's the problem we're running into unless we can verify other things.
Well, and
like the four-wheeler
the
stuff.
four-wheeler stuff, right. And with the four-wheeler ordeal, I know for sure he had to get a tag to ride on the state park or whatever. So that should be pretty easy to do.
Although Davis's notes alone may lack sufficient weight, it's evident he's invested considerable thought into this. Social media could prove invaluable in the investigation, while official timesheets will serve as concrete evidence in constructing the case.
I mean, I don't know where you get the tags at, if it's Perry State Forest or if you go to the BMV.
Probably the BMV, but if he got the tag, a week in advance, how you prove he was riding on that day?
Because
unless
Perry State Forest, unless they require the registrations for the vehicles that are going to be on there, which is something we'll have to look into.
Yeah. Perry State Forest, you have to have the tag too. Both of them.
You probably have to have the tag, but I
whether they record
a
tag.
tag.
Oh, yeah.
To say that who's there riding, I doubt they do that.
I doubt. I don't know. Yeah, that I don't know.
So on 5/5, you put in there Jimmy hasn't worked all week. On 4/25, Jimmy has down he worked 43 hours. He didn't work an hour all week. So he didn't work at all this whole week?
I didn't see him.
Okay.
But he supposedly had, he would tell us, or tell me that I got certain things on my computer, my laptop at home that he don't have in the office, so that would justify him to be at home all the time. But they didn't say, call me if you need me.
Okay.
So, it wasn't expected that he's out patrolling the streets all day, right?
Yeah, it definitely was not.
Well, that's probably not the expectation that the village had of him either.
Correct.
He could do whatever
So,
he wanted, pretty much.
Pretty
because-
much, right.
Just out of curiosity, on the auxiliary units, when they come into work, do they them ride by themselves? Do they ride with another officer? How's that work?
It kind of depends. Like if someone's been working there for a while, typically if there was an extra car, we were there for the longest time. We had car issues, not enough cars to go around. What they would do is they would ride us in a separate car if we had an extra car, if they were trained, you know, had enough training in or whatnot. And then if they rode with somebody, typically what I would normally do is write a hashtag next to my name and write in who worked with me that day. Like, let's just say Jackson.
You would, but not everybody did it that way.
Not
right?
everybody did it that way. There was really no actual, like, hey, look, you have to do this, you have to do that. But we did have a book that you were supposed to sign in also saying that, you know, Jackson came in and worked, you know.
Does everybody do that?
Tuesday. I don't know if everybody does that, to be honest with you.
Who's Randy?
Randy Perry?
Sure.
Or, well, there's a bunch of Randys.
Who's the Randy that took the fuel pump off the car?
Oh, that would be Street Department Randy.
Randy
Busey.
So you wrote down here that he came into the station, grabbed the keys to the impound lot because he said he was pulling a fuel pump off.
Yeah, they're taking parts off cars.
For what reason?
For his own personal. I think that fuel pump was for his brother.
Yeah, Gary.
Gary.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he said that he had permission to do that from
Jimmy.
From Jimmy.
And then Jimmy would also give him like all the batteries and, you know, whatever parts before they scrapped them or did whatever they did to them.
Okay.
I think on numerous occasions he would give, like there'd be speakers and stuff in the cars too. Gave him the Ritter.
Were these all cars that were in impound out of cases or what?
Yeah, well, they'd be, you know, DUIs or whatever. Something that nobody picked back up.
So they were scrapped?
They were going to be scrapped, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, a lot of times you say in here he's in plain clothes.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything that said he couldn't be in plain clothes, right?
In an environment with a neglectful boss, friction among the staff is unsurprising. While individuals like Davis resent this state of affairs, others find it preferable as it allows them to slack off without consequences.
No.
Okay.
Jimmy and the mayor mayor at that time were like, they were two peas in a pod, and he just basically got to do whatever he wanted to do. You know, he's really good at him. And
You see anything else over there that we need to know about?
not that I can recall. Like I said, not 100% of the time, if I seen something that I thought was wrong, I came home that night and would write it down, you know what I mean? So if it's not written down, then definitely not.
When's the last time you saw like Vicky Glover work?
As far as
just working there, being on patrol or anything else?
Well, it would have been with me back in, I'm thinking like October or something, but I was told to tell her, per Jimmy, that if you can't work 8 hours consecutive, then you can't come in, you can't work anymore. So she
quit?
She quit, yeah.
And that was, when was that? October?
I'm thinking like October, November, I'm not 100% sure on dates.
Last year or 16?
17, I think.
Because you were done in June, right?
Yeah.
So she wouldn't have rode with you in October if you were done in June.
Right, so then 16. Sorry.
Okay.
So she did not work there from October of 16 on, right?
I believe so. I'm not sure on the dates.
What's the other girl's name? Dory?
Dory Mitchell.
When's the last time? Dory. Is it Vermillion? Vermillion?
Yeah, oh yeah. Sorry, her maiden name was Mitchell.
Alright. When's the last time you remember her working?
It's been years since I've seen her work. She'd come out and work it whenever Jimmy would call her and jump her ass and say, hey, you ain't put a single day in, we need you to come work today. Then she would probably come in and fill in like an 8-hour shift or something.
But you haven't seen that in years?
Yeah, it's been.
What about qualifications? You guys all qualify together or do anything?
No, Jimmy and Bartow would pretty much go qualified prior to us. And Jimmy would always say that was because Jim was so unsafe that he didn't want to put us in jeopardy. So he wanted to kind of make sure that Jim Bartow, which is he's like an 83-year-old man, or 89 or something like that.
Yeah.
Might be 90. He's really old.
Yeah, he's still working.
Unsafe to be around. But he used to be a former mayor, so him and Jimmy were like this, you know.
Right.
So it's like.
Yeah, I thought I saw him as an A in it.
Yeah. He's still working, despite not being as fit for duty as probably should be.
But then there was Jason Sheeling. He was our, he did our taser training. And I ain't seen him in a couple of years. He just recently retired. Just, I don't know if he has.
Is he on that?
Not on the roster.
Not even on the roster. Okay.
Do you have, let's see what the hell's.
The roster we were given has Hansy, Vermaeten, Ritter, and Haas as the paid guys.
Right.
Then you have James Jackson, Ben Justice.
Ben Justice, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I haven't seen him in years either.
Tyler Thompson.
I think that's the new kid. He just got hired with Hebron.
Dora Vermillion, James Bartow, and Tedra Bear.
Yeah, Tedra, I ain't seen her work in a long time either.
Did she come in?
Every once in a great while when I was told to call and rip someone's ass and tell them, hey, look, you guys don't start putting your hours in. But I'd say 90% of our auxiliaries never came out and put their time in. I mean, I think anybody that works there, including themselves, would probably tell you that.
Okay.
That they haven't put their time in.
So it'd be safe to say they weren't putting in their 16 hours a month.
Right, correct.
The village board will likely react unfavorably to this revelation. These figures disrupt the entire budget, allocating funds to individuals who haven't been actively working instead of addressing potential needs in other crucial areas.
Yeah. And that's, we were so short-handed there for the longest while. It's like, why can't these people come in and work? And I always had excuses, which, I understand, they have normal jobs too, some of them, and it's hard to get them to come in and work. But,
yeah, it's not a paid position, so.
Yeah. But Dory, depending on what type of mood she's in, sometimes she loves Jimmy, and sometimes she hates him, so.
Okay. What's the story about the suicide gun?
What I got wrote down in there?
Yeah.
Basically, Jimmy was, Vermaeten had called me and said, hey, I need you to get over here at Jimmy's house. I think priority 1 is what I put down even. So I hurried up and got there, and I heard him kind of in there yelling a little bit, and Jimmy had a gun in his hand, and he's like, I'm gonna kill myself. And I'm talking to him saying, Jimmy, don't do that, don't do that. And he's like, I've done lost everything. He's like, I'm already in trouble with Clay for some sort of insurance check that he cashed. What I thought it was and what it is now or what I know now, because of being rushed to the hospital, what happens is the village got a check. It's kind of hard to explain. Sorry, guys.
You're fine.
But
what did they get the check for?
He got the check for being rushed to the hospital. So he'd gotten this check, but it was made out like I got one.
It was meant to go to the town or to the
fire department.
Oh, so the insurance company was paying the fire department.
Yeah, and the check was actually made out to Jimmy. Which I got one of those checks too, and we had to take it into the village office and say, hey, look, what's this check here for?
Gotcha.
I don't want to cash it and get in trouble, you know what I mean? Cash something that's not mine.
Right.
And Mary, the village clerk that was in charge of payroll and that sort of stuff, she kind of let it known that was the type of check that Jimmy had cashed.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he ever paid it back or was supposed to make payment arrangements, but I don't think he ever paid it back.
Okay.
But it was supposed to have been made out to the village, or he was supposed to pay that money back to the village, and it should have went to the fire department, which I don't know if you've ever heard of anything like that. I never have.
I'm not even sure why you would get a check because you got transported to the hospital.
Our insurance is stupid. I know it didn't make any sense to us neither. That's why my wife and I wanted to make sure we didn't cash something that wasn't made out for us. And
in 2015, you talked about a gun that was used in a suicide, and that Jimmy, you needed to find the gun because the coroner's office was saying that to go and destroy all the evidence, and you couldn't find the gun.
Yeah.
And then it reappeared after you couldn't find it.
Yeah.
What's the story on that?
To be honest with you, I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I wish I could.
How about the time when you said that Jimmy had a car painted, and he said that he's just going to tell city council he misunderstood the quote so that he can get the whole thing painted for...
Enos knew. Yeah, I do remember something.
What was that about?
I think Jimmy had told the guys to go ahead and paint the car, paint everything on there, and then or paint the fenders, blend it all in, make it look right. And
that's a patrol car, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't authorized by whoever, village council or the mayor for that amount of money. So
okay.
I think Jimmy was just trying to cover his ass, and he told the painter one thing, and then told the village something else, because the painters, they were having a hard time getting paid. They'd stop me every once in a while and say, hey, what's going on with this? I said, I didn't really want in it. I'm like, I don't really know. I said, your best bet's to go to Village Hall and talk to them and find out what's going on, but they ended up finally getting a check for whatever the amount of money was.
Okay.
Despite regularly evading work, the chief appears remarkably occupied. However, his concerning mental state raises significant red flags. Given the constant need for strength, reasoning, and finesse in his position, it seems evident he's unfit to hold this role effectively.
There was also another suicide you mentioned, that there was some money missing.
Some money missing.
Can you tell me about that?
I just remember when we was doing inventory, there was, I think it was like $140 or something. It came up missing.
Okay.
When I was doing my inventory of what we gathered from the house, because there was...
Who had access to that money?
Would have just been Jimmy and me, obviously me, when I was doing my inventory, but it was definitely gone.
Okay. Did you have the money with you the whole time?
No. I don't remember what if he took some of the stuff, or if I took some of the stuff, I don't really remember.
Okay.
It's been years ago, but.
You also, in September of 15, you said you went to a house on a suicide call. Actually, that Jimmy went to the house on a suicide call, and nobody ever documented anything. No call record, no reports, no nothing. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that one.
Okay. 9/1/15.
Jimmy called me before I got here. He called me this morning and said, hey, what are you doing this morning? Or what are you doing today? I said, oh, I'm just going around paying some bills, and I think he was fishing, knowing that I was coming here today.
Did he know you were coming here today?
Unless, I never said, I ain't talked to him, and I couldn't tell you how long. He just happened to call twice this morning, and actually texted me at like 8:30 in the morning, which I never get up that early. My chemo that I'm on right now, it knocks me down. Normally I don't get up till, an early day for me is 10 o'clock. So it just makes me so droggy and tired and just worn out.
Sure.
So that's all I said. I just want to see what you were doing.
Well, and let's see, I'll show you the text messages. This is what he was wanting. He called, missed to call me, put, hey Andy, it's Jimmy. Can you call me, thanks? And then he asked me when I was officially retired and wanted my social security number and name and date of birth, which I thought that's kind of odd. My wife's like, see what the hell he wants that for? I'm like, I'm just not gonna try not to talk to him. So he's not asking a bunch of questions. And then he tried to call me back. That was at 8:29 this morning when he texted me. And I called him back roughly around probably 10 o'clock or so when I got up. And then at 10:54.
Did you ask him what he wanted that stuff for? That information?
I didn't ask him.
Did you give it to him?
Yeah, I gave it to him.
Okay.
And then he texted me, he tried to call me and I didn't answer. I was on the other line actually. And then he texted me at 10:54 and put, I need your address. And so I sent him that and he sent back thanks at 12:05. So I don't know what he needed that stuff for.
But you say you did have a conversation with him on the phone too, right?
Yeah.
And what all? And that was just he just wanted to know what you're up to. Or?
Yeah, I felt like he was fishing, like he knew I was coming here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then once I told him I'm just going to go. We go to my wife's mom's restaurant in Buckeye Lake every day at between 10 and 11 o'clock. You know, depending on what time I wake up, and go and meet her dad there for breakfast or lunch, whatever it ends up being by the time I get there. But
I'm just curious, can you text him and just say, what do you need the information for? You know, I'm just curious. Or?
I wouldn't text him now. It's going to be too late now, I guess.
It's still weird. Why the heck would he need his social security number and his date of birth? He doesn't work for him.
Maybe he didn't complete the paperwork that separated him from the department.
that's kind of what I was possibly thinking. But I also thought that all my information is all my file. It's like, but he's not supposed to be at work, so maybe you can go to work and get that.
Why is he not supposed to be at work?
Because he's not allowed to go back until after the investigation. He's got to requalify. And
oh, they put him on leave?
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe he wasn't able to go back to the office. I don't know if Peggy took his keys or...
If he can't go back to the office, he can't take you out. You know,
right.
So...
Yeah, sorry guys, I wish I had more information, but
no, that's plenty.
I tried to document as much information as I could, just because I figured eventually this would, happen. I think it was 3 years of 3 years of stuff, and that was just because of Vicky. She's like, Andy, you got to write all this stuff down, because there's no way in hell I could have remembered all that. You know what I mean?
So it would be safe to say that Vicky didn't work any hours in October of last year, 2017?
Possibility. I honestly can't even remember when she handed in her resignation. I could call her and find out exactly.
I won't get hold of her.
Okay.
I just wanted to see from your...
Right. I just... Dates to me just are...
Well, I mean, but again, this would be after you retire.
Oh, no, she hasn't worked.
So, because you just retired last year, so...
Yeah.
You retired in June last year, so October of last year, would it make sense for Vicky to be working in October of last year?
She was gone way prior to me.
From Davis's depiction, it's astonishing that the station functions at all. If the former mayor were still in office, would Davis have dared to step up? It seems his only chance emerged due to the discord between the chief and the new mayor.
Retiring or whatever.
Okay, so that's kind of where I was going.
So you retired in June of 17?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure exactly how they have it.
So you haven't been down, you haven't been gone a whole year yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
I get my first check actually the 2nd of this month,
okay.
so
I see.
I'm not sure exactly even when they have me down as retiring, because they did give me like a back pay.
Yeah, it was in June from when I talked to them. They said it was in June.
Okay. Because we was trying to figure that out ourselves, because I don't know when to put it down.
Okay.
Sorry guys, I'm gonna sound like...
No, you're fine.
That's fine, no, not at all. No, we're just trying to dig into everything and see what we can come up with here.
It hasn't been the easiest based on the paperwork. There's not a lot of consistency. And
I was hoping by, this thing here, based on the document and show,
It helps.
here's his time card. I mean, did you sign that you worked this day?
Right.
And we know for a fact you were out riding four-wheelers because of...
Well, that might be something, but a lot of these things, you know, he's gonna say, you're gonna say he didn't work that day, and he's gonna say, yes, I did.
So how do we prove
And
that?
that's it. You know what I mean? So how do we prove that he's not working? That's the hard part.
Right, no, I understand that.
So, because when it comes to that, it's a he said, she said, and, you know, they're gonna err on the side of caution on this one. So I would say that, you know, something to look into with the four wheels, we'll do that. Anybody else we can talk to that would know maybe some more about the hours that everybody are putting in, or?
Like I said, Vicky Glover, and then you may want to call Dory and...
Yeah.
Does Bartow put in 16 hours a month?
He put in way more than 16 hours a month.
Okay.
He would come in and just, he loved writing tickets. And so he'd come out and work, you know, 8-hour shifts multiple days in a row.
Did you hear anything about the shooting over there, the accidental discharge he had?
Not till my son, my 18-year-old son, sent me a message saying, hey, well, first that night my wife's like, hey, she always gets on King County scanner heads to see what the hell's going on. She's like, hey, there's a shooting in Buckeye Lake. Well, her younger sister lives in Buckeye Lake, and she's been having problems with some drug addicts next door.
Yeah.
A lot of drug issues in and out of that house.
Speaking of that, do you know Darlene Hilt or Hoffer that lives at 4711 Walnut Road, lot M20?
Not that I can remember.
Okay, because apparently she called him directly on the phone, which probably happens quite often out there, I would assume, right?
Yeah, I have Jimmy's personal cell phone.
Right. Okay, but that's not a familiar address or anything to you?
Not to me.
Okay. All right. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, man.
If you think of anything else and you want to call me and you're able to call me,
Yeah, absolutely can.
I'll try my best to remember. But like I said, you know, 90% of what I can remember or what I wrote down was, you know, it was like a daily event. Like, you know, when I'd go home at 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
It's like, hey, what happened today? I was like, well, let's get our book out and write it down.
Sure.
So.
Well, I'll go through all of it and see and match it and, you know, do as much stuff as I can on it. So I appreciate the time and your bookkeeping skills there. So, is there any questions you have for us?
No. I don't think I have at all.
Davis has presented his information, marking the start of the investigator's case. Thankfully, his insights offer abundant material and numerous leads for further exploration. Hopefully, swift action will replace the chief and restore order. Later, James Hansey was found guilty of these and several other charges. In May 2018, following a 10-hour meeting, the Buckeye Lake Village Council voted 5-2 to dismiss Hansey from his role as the village's police chief. The stories of Matthew Boynton and Jessica Lester showed problems in how the law handled things. At the same time, Sergeant Andy Davis stood up to Police Chief James Hansey, leading to important changes in how police work is done. Both situations showed things that need fixing in terms of how justice is served. Remember, it's your curiosity that fuels this channel. Keep exploring, stay inspired, and join us for more amazing content next time.